Hi, so welcome back to Chopper's Garage. I'm here on New Year's Eve. It's gone mental. Everybody wants cars all of a sudden. Little C1 sold. The Dacia Sandero I had is sold, went yesterday. Thesis is sold to somebody on eBay. I've got phone calls coming out my ear holes for small cars at the moment. Someone's just had a little test drive in the 500, they're coming back to me. So I pretty much sold out of stuff, which is always a problem. You think you've got too much stock and then suddenly it all goes and suddenly you need stock again. So a bit mental on that front. Progress with the Dacia Stepway I showed you on the last video, really good, really good. So I said I was going to have a go at pulling it myself. And if you can see, let me get you a torch again. Light's terrible at the moment inside. Yeah, really, really chuffed. I'm going to highly recommend this tool to any of you that fancy giving this a go yourself. So basically I backed up the Dacia in front of the ramp here, and here it is, all pulled out, giving it a coating of stone chip. I mean, obviously there's very, very small dent there still, but the panel is right back to where it should have been. It's got the right curvature to it. Stone chipped inside the wheel well now I've done that, but as you can see we're all straight down there. So that tool I had, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. I got it off of eBay. I'll just show it to you again. It's down here on the floor somewhere. Up here, sorry, it's the 10 tool pullback ram, 10 ton pullback ram that I got on eBay for 100 quid. Pulled that straight back out. The method I used, sorry I didn't video it. I know I should have done. Bit pointless showing you stuff, I guess, without showing you how I did it. But I got excited and had to play with it. I welded tabs along the leading edge, 3 tabs, put the chain through those, put chain through my ramp, my 4-poster ramp here, put the ram in between, and then jacked it back. I put the car in gear, put blocks of wood behind the wheels, and just pulled them out bit by bit going along, and it pulled them right out. Obviously with some tension on them, I also gave a bit of a hammer inside, pulled it straight back out again, and it brought it right back out to here. I mean, obviously at the end of the day this is a minor hit really. I mean, they say it's structural, but it's only the wheel well. It didn't do any damage to the frame chassis rails or to the actual boot opening or anything like that, so it is sort of more cosmetic than anything, I'd say. But pulled it right back out again. It did pull the seam away where the 2 panels join here. It pulled that away first when it pulled this back, separate the 2, so then I had to weld underneath, tabs underneath, and pull from underneath as well. But once they were back together again, hammered them closed nice and tight, and then spot weld all the way along there again. So really, really chuffed with that. For 100 quid, not to have to go to a frame shop, ideal. And bumper's just arrived, and it's exactly the same colour. The only thing it hasn't got is the holes for the parking sensors on the one I've got. So as you can see, I've started marking out where they're going to go. I'm going to take a brave pill in a minute and drill into those. So yeah, so 1400 quid for the car, 150 quid for the bumper. Let's count the tool, 100 quid into the car into it as well. So 250 plus the 1400 quid, so 1650 plus 150 delivery. So we're up to about 1800 quid into the car at the moment. That was the new crash bar down here. That was 50 quid. It was white. I've just painted it black. I know no one's ever going to see it, but it just bothered me being white. So what, 1850 including that. I've had to order a new parking sensor and a new rear light. That's about another 30-40 quid on top, so let's call it £1,900. I've got to put an MOT on it. I'm hoping to be in it for 2k depending on what the MOT needs. It might need a cam belt service. I've got to try and track down the history. I'm hoping I shouldn't be into it for more than 2.5, and I'll probably ask 3.5 for it. One of the same age and miles is about 5 grand normally, so I'm going to ask about 3.5, I think, for it. 3,795 maybe. And this is well stacked up. It's got the sat nav, it's got the Bluetooth, parking sensors, USB auxiliary input, all of the goodies on it. And I think it'd be a cracking little car for somebody, and I'm more than happy with that repair. Obviously, total disclosure, honesty is the key with me, so I'll show people the repair, I'll show them the pictures before, I'll show them the repair, so they know exactly what's happened. And if they're happy to buy it on that basis, fine. If they're not, that's fine. Never push anybody into anything, never blag anybody on anything. Okay, so just a little quick video. I'll try and stitch this in with something else in a bit. So today on BCA, we've gone hell for leather and we've bought 8 cars. Most of them are bought in one go. So let's have a look to see what we've got. We've got a Skoda Fabia 1.2 on a 57 plate with 93,000 miles. And that has been won at £600. Then we've got a Honda Jazz 1.4, 85,000 miles on a 58 plate, and won that for £1,000. So the Fabia is grade 4, the Honda Jazz is grade 4, which probably means they've got bangs and dings and dents and scrapes on them. All the kind of thing I'm used to sorting out. Got a Chevrolet Spark 1 litre. I quite like this one. I got one of these in before and it sold quite quick, so I grabbed that. It's a 2011 and I got that for £600 with 90,000 miles on it. We got a Yaris on a 93 plate with 93,000 miles on an 09 plate, and we won that one for £500, and that's a grade 4 as well. These are sold as seen. We've got sold as seen, sold as seen, sold as seen. So these came with no mechanical reports at all, so we don't know what could be wrong with them mechanically. And this one was a bit strange. A Kia Rio 1.4. I put a cheeky bid on it. It's a 2009 59 plate with 100,000 miles. It has been previously Cat N repaired, but I'm on it for £200. So be interested to see what turns up with that. Again, that's sold as seen, no mechanical report on it at all. Got a Mazda 2 1.3 on a 59 plate with 52,000 miles on. Got that for £1,100. I got a Nissan Micra on a 2010 plate with 70,000 miles. An N-Tex, that's a decent spec one, for £1,500. And we've got a Citroen C1 VTR, always a good seller for me, with 95,000 miles on it, on an 09 plate. Risky one because they can have valve problems, but we'll have to see. That's a grade 4 as well. So all these cars are grade 4. So they're all going to need a little bit of work on them, and most of them haven't got mechanical reports, although some of them have got MOTs that are nearly 12 months long from my quick review of them. But this is the most cars I've bought in one go. So is it going to be a big bust, especially as we've just gone into lockdown? But my aim was to fill up with cars that will be sub £3,000 for all those kids that are going to be passing the driving test when the lockdown ends, and for those people that need a family car during lockdown, where their car's broken down, and normally those people don't want to spend an awful lot of money. So, and we're going to have to do it click and collect, aren't we? So that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to have to, I've not previously had a website with my stuff on it. I've always just sold it through Auto Trader and Facebook. So I'm going to have to set up a click and collect little site on them as well, so people can abide by the old COVID rules. Last COVID, I sold a few cars during full lockdown. I think people are less concerned about it now. I think before they absolutely wouldn't come out, and whether they will or not now, I don't know. But if I'm not selling cars, I'm not making money. If I'm not taking a punt, I'm not making money. So we have to do this. So let's, I've got to get a quote now for getting 7 cars transported. 7 cars transported from Blackbush, which is nearly 200 miles away from us. So we will have to see what that comes out at, because I think my normal guys, it's going to be too much for them to cope with. I'm going to try and get transporters, get them all down in one go. And then I've got to try and get all these cars as ready as quickly as I can, because with all the money tied up in them, if they're not up for sale, I can't make any money. So I'm going to have to get through all of my valeters are closed across the road because of COVID. So I'm going to have to rattle through cleaning all these cars myself, doing any paintwork and any mechanicals on them. It's going to be a hell of a job. I'm going to be kept busy, that's for damn sure. So what I'll do in a second is jot up the total cost. We'll work out what the average per car I've got in them is, add in the transport cost and the fees, and see how much we've got tied up, and then we'll see what profit we can make out of them, see how long it takes us to shift them. One that I didn't have on that BCA list, it's just come in from my driver. It's a 2013 Mitsubishi Mirage. I haven't done one of these before. Saw it up on the auction, thought I'd have a cheeky little bid on it, because anything I can put out the door that's sub 1400cc, that's small 5-door, and I can put out around about the 3k mark and below, always sell. So I saw this up for grabs, I thought I'd have it. Accident wise, it's had a bump in the corner here. I don't know, this wing might go again. It's actually doesn't seem to have gone through the paint, I don't think. I'm going to give that a buff and see what happens. Got a little tweak there, but I might be able to straighten that out, you know. Might have needed a touch of paint just on the corner. Bumper's scraped here. Unfortunately, it has broken down here. Sorry for flickering. But getting a bumper for that's going to add quite a lot of money to the costs. I think that might go again. I'm going to try plastic welding it together, because paint wise I can rattle can up to this swage line here, or maybe up to about here, either side, blend it in really easily, and again the saving that I'll make doing that I can give back to the customer by making the car that bit cheaper. I do have the headlight in the passenger footwell. One of the clips is here and one of the clips up here, so again I might be able to bond those back on and use the headlight again. Rest of the bodywork seems clean. Need some wheel trims and a tidy up. So a quick look what we got spec wise. First one I've had in of these. I don't know if there's going to be enough light in the car to show you, but what we have got is electrical round windows, we've got air con, we've got auxiliary input, CD player, all the seats. Let's get you pause you 1 second and we'll get you a light in here. Yeah, seats are in good nick, all the fabric's good, nice red purpley trim actually. All interior looks good, it looks like it'll clean up well. Can't remember the miles. Let's get the keys and let's check the mileage again. I've dumped them on somewhere and you see on the floor. But yeah, I mean this looks like it could be a nice little runaround for someone. We've got only 40,000 miles on it. So it's only 40,000 miles. It's a 2013. It's 2013, isn't it? Yeah. And I think I won this for 1,100. So with fees and with delivery, I think I'm about £1,500 into it. I think something like that. I'll double check. I'll go through the numbers a little bit later with you. I mean, I reckon 2013, 40,000 miles. This spec, 2795, 2995, 2995 maybe. As always, I mean, I'm going to service it. I'm going to put a new ticket on it. It is a cheap little runaround for someone. So that takes me up, I think, was it take me up in total to 9 cars with this and the 8 from BCA today. So I've got 9 cars to get fully prepped, up for sale. Hopefully some of those are just going to be a wash job, because otherwise I'm going to be absolutely flat out. So much for lockdown and me getting on to my personal projects. I've got 9 cars to get prepped. But yeah, let's get cracking and see what we can do with them. Like I say, first thing with this one, I might buff this wing out and the edge of this bumper and just see how much, if that is just, you know, just marking on top, or how much it goes through to the paint. Being a little bit lazy, the little polisher was out, so I'll give it a quick go with that first and we'll see see what how it goes. Seems to be coming off. As I thought, a lot of it is just transfer of dirt and paint rather than actually going through the paint. And whether this wing is worth saving or not, with its denting, I'll have to put the headlight on first and see for sure whether it's any good or not. Off again. So as you can see, it's pretty much all come off. So it was just a bit of transfer of dirt and so forth. It wasn't really a case of it going through the paint. So we'll have a little go on the bumper as well. Just get this little bit here. Right, so let's see what the score is with the bumper. I suspect more the bumper is actually through to the paint, but we'll see. Yeah, a lot of this seems to be coming off. In fact, there's only one spot I can see so far that's actually gone through the paint. So this bumper might well definitely be worth repairing, because I will have to do less blending. I won't be doing panel to panel blending, which means it's easier to do with a rattle can rather than a professional paint job and the cost involved in that. Let's turn it off a sec. Yeah, so you can see once I've wiped this off, let's get a cloth a second for you. Let's wipe this off. You can see that actually most of this is just dirt. So not really a lot in the way of paint needed. Let's see, give it a little bit more buff in a couple of places. Right, yeah, I mean, even this spot here, to be honest, it's only one tiny spot that's gone through the bumper. I can actually touch that in. This wing, though, whether it's going to be worth trying to bend this wing out or just get another one, though, is a different matter. It depends whether I can find a white one or not, because it's got a sort of bend here and a bend here and a bend here. But yeah, I'd say we'll get the bumper off and see if we can repair this bumper. But it does now mean that I can say I paint the bumper just to these lower levels here, so you're not going to have a new white blending into another white. Hopefully I can get a factory wing that's already been painted that colour from a breaker, and then that'll be a bolt on. And any time I can do this, save money and time in the car, you know, I will feed it back to the customer, and that'll make things a bit cheaper for them. Just spotted this. We've got some wires pulled out here. That could be fun. I think they may well have pulled out of this block. Oh, you can't quite see. May well have pulled out of a block here. Anyway, let's go over the rest of the car and check it out and see. Obviously we've got no chassis leg damage in it. This is a Cat N, so it's just bent that wing in. Need to find a wheel for it. Wheel is gone. Sounded sweet enough when I ran it. Let's have a quick look under the engine. I need to do a bit of research. I'm not sure what engine this is. I imagine it's a shared unit with somebody, like they all are these days. Let's find the latch. There's my torch. Grab that a second. I imagine it's a shared unit with somebody. It's a 3-cylinder. Looks like it's chain. No cam belt cover. 3-cylinder. It isn't immediately familiar. Might look a bit like the Hyundai unit actually. Don't know. Check it out. But all looks clean under here. Let's pull the oil. Let's pull the dipstick and see what the oil looks like. Oil's really clean. Oil is really clean. You can just about see it. Oh, get the light back on again for you. Yeah, the oil is actually really clean, and it's bang on the right level. So looks like it's a car that's been looked after. So yeah, all clean. I mean, even though that's been sat for a long while, there's no condensation in the cap, so it does look like it could be a good little car. Let's have a quick look at the coolant level, see if it's been looked after there. Yeah, coolant level's bang on as well, so it looks like it's been looked after. So yeah, I'm thinking this is a good little buy. Let me know what you think. If any of you had any of these, do you know if they're any good or not? Get some wheel trims on it, give it a good clean up, fix that bumper, put that wing on it, and she's good to go. Great first car, or family on around. So here's the Mirage. I got it from Copart. As I said, it's a Cat N, done 40,000 miles. It's 2013. I won it for £875. If I go back to my bill paying, I came out at £1,151 including fees. Just paid £150 to have it delivered, so I'm £1,300 into it. I'm hoping I can get away with spending sort of like £300 on it, and like I say, then I could probably 2.5 it, or 2,795. It'd still be a cheap cut, 2,795 I think. Depends how much it costs me to get. If I do have to get a bumper, it will add up quite quickly. But yeah, looks like that was a good little buy. That my Dacia there, my 2016 Stepway, £692. That's already sold actually. Someone came in and saw that. Excuse me. Someone came and saw that. They wanted the other Dacia I bought, the little white one, and then I showed them that, which was a 2014 with 70,000 miles on it, just normal Dacia 1.2, not a Stepway, and that was up for 2,995 and sold straight away, a non-category repaired car. I said, look, I'm going to put this 2016 out, Stepway, which is a 4x4 with sat-nav, parking sensors, everything, diesel, 80,000 miles. I want to put that out for 3,795. And she said, I'll have that. So I'm getting that fixed up for her now. I just need to get the exhaust on it. So yeah, so got a lot of work to be done. I'll do some videos when the other cars arrive. I'm hoping to get them all transported in one go. So I'll have a big video walking around everything else I bought and find out what the score is, how many of them run and drive, how many of them, how much work they're going to need and so forth. But I'm going to have a very busy lockdown getting all these ready, because obviously all that money tied up in the cars, it's not worth anything until they're ready to sell. And then the question is, are people going to be buying over lockdown? Well, we'll soon see, won't we? So it's following morning, whip the bumper off. With these, if you're ever doing one of these, by the way, my top tip, took me a little while to work it out. They've got 2 screws, one there and there in the centre of the grille, which you normally don't have. You normally only have fittings top and bottom, but they nearly caught me out. I was wondering why the bumper wouldn't come away. You've got 2 hidden away there and there. So, bumper's off. We're going to try one of those repair kits, the plastic welding kits with that inserts little metal clips in. We're going to give one of those a go on this. We haven't done that yet. I normally just use a soldering iron and then a plastic repair putty in the back, but we're going to try that out on this one. But what I'm going to do now is give the rest of the car a clean. I do that just in case someone comes by who's interested in it, so that they don't see a filthy dirty car and damage, they just see the damage. So, and it'll give us a good idea of how the car cleans up. Then we're going to give these guys a call, see if we've got any service history. It looks very well looked after, so I'll be very surprised that I haven't got service history. I've got an arrangement now for the other 8 cars that are coming in. Done a deal with my AJS transport chap, who I highly recommend. If anybody needs transport, bung me a message, I'll give you his details. He's brilliant. So I've got those coming in on Thursday. Today is, what's today? Today's Wednesday, so it's tomorrow. So I'll get you some content on those as soon as they arrive. But obviously the quicker cars are ready, the quicker they can be sold, so get this one prepped. If you're doing this, make sure you save all of the clips you come across, like this one here that connects the bumper to the wing. They're really hard to get hold of a lot of the time, and they can be quite expensive. They're good to go again as long as things like the teeth here are all still in good nick. Otherwise, if you try and fit it back up with a broken one, you'll end up with a panel gap, which drives me nuts. So always save these bits of trims, and also things like this here on the back is obviously part of the headlight. So if I can find all of those, I can put them all back in place, bond them in place, and reuse the headlight, which, you know, no point buying a new one if it's just the tabs that need refitting. So always keep all the bits of trim you find as you go along, because you never know which bit you might need. So bumper's all cleaned, and use the clamps to basically pull it into roughly where it should be, ready for using the plastic welding kit, and we'll see what kind of a job that does. So here's a new tool using for doing the bumper repair. Just look for my local motor factor. So what you do is use these little pins here, to show you, put them in the end of the gun, like so, and then hold it down for 10 seconds to heat the clip up. And then what you do is find the section you want to glue downwards, but put it just here along the crack I've got, and push it into the plastic. It melts its way into the plastic. Do it about halfway through the plastic, then give it about a 45-degree turn. Let go. Let it cool off. Pull your gun away, and you've got your staples in the plastic. And it has held the crack together very nicely. So I'm going to put a few more along there, and then I've got to do the other side. But from the outside, it's pretty good. Obviously this will still need sanding and filling a little bit, but should be able to save the bumper. So here we got the headlamp from the Mirage, and it was broken internally. This part here had broken off that held the headlight, the reflector in place. You can see the crack there. Again, headlight's 200 quid, but that was all that was wrong with the headlight. So use the heat lamp around the edge of the headlamp to soften up the sealant that holds the headlamp in. Got the lens out, and then deconstructed the internals. I've glued that back in place. I'll use some plastic repair pattern in the back to make sure that holds nice and tight, but at the end of the day, that isn't going to be the be all and end all of the working of your headlights. It's reflective, that's what matters. And again, it's £200 extra. I don't need to put it into the car, that I don't need to charge somebody. I'll be able to do the car that much cheaper. So again, if you can repair it, the way I see it, this has taken me half an hour, saving £200. So basically that half hour has made me £200 effectively. If a headlight was 50 quid, I wouldn't do it, because for the time spent, it's not worth the hassle. But when they're £200, it's worth doing. So yeah, just gently heat up with the heat lamp on the lower setting rather than the higher setting. Go all the way around. I'll have to clean all this out now, put new sealant in, put it back together, seal it up, and then should be good to go. So I stayed late to try and really get ahead. Excuse the compressor noise in the background. Got the lens off the light, of course, and cleaned all the old gunk off of that. Repaired that piece. Like I say, I've put some plastic putty behind it as well now to give it extra strength. I'll probably spray a bit of silver over that. I don't know, no one will ever see it, but it'll bother me. Gathered up all the little bits of clip I could for the lights. So all the broken bits of clip, I gathered them all up, and I've used the plastic welding kit to weld them back on again, and then reinforce them with plastic putty. What I like to do with these when they're done, you can see some of the reinforcing clips, end of the reinforcing clips there in that one. What I like to do once I've done that is I use black plaster dip to paint over the putty, because again, you're never really going to see it, but I like to know it's black. It bothers me otherwise. What else have we done? Right, so cracking on with the bumper. Obviously we stapled it from behind. Not the air. We stapled it from behind, and then when I turned it over, I cut a groove in where the crack was. Cut a groove into the plastic with the Dremel, and I've used plastic filler in there and started smoothing that out. You cut a groove basically to make sure it's all level, so the filler should only really stay where that groove was. It doesn't have to be absolutely brilliant this low down on the car. You don't have to spend hours shaping it, especially being white. You do get away with a blue murder on white. So here's the other side, and that's got the icing on it, the plastic filler. So I'm going to sand that down now, and start off with an 80 grit, quite rough, just to shape it a bit, and then I'll do it by hand with the 80, and then I'll do a 120, a 240 primer, probably then 400, 600, sand the primer back, probably give it another coat of primer, and then it will get the white. So I'll start getting this bit down. So far we're going to say we're a day into fiddling with this so far, this little Mitsubishi. Got my a dacier up on the ramp, ready to have a new rear back box on it. The lady who's purchased that, trying to get that ready as quick as possible for her. Right, anyway, let's crack on with this. I'm not fitting that yet. I don't want you to think I'd keep a customer waiting. I'm not fitting that yet because I haven't got quite a big enough clamp for it. I need to get a bigger clamp for it. They only give you a repair section on the exhaust and you have to put a clamp on it with the Dacia. So I'm waiting on a bigger clamp, so I'll do that first thing tomorrow morning. Obviously, you've got to always prioritise the stuff that's sold. Don't get distracted. Get through, finish a project. Don't get distracted. Don't keep customers waiting because the deal's not done till they've driven off in it. Use a rounded sponge for this, because obviously this is curved in here. Don't want to flatten off the edges. A little while back, someone got me a box of these. I don't know the brand. I can't see what it is. They got me as a gift. Got me a box of these sponges, all different sizes, all different shapes for sanding. Back when I just did it as a little hobby, and I've had those for about 5 years now, and made sure I keep putting them back each time. But yeah, really useful getting these shapes. You don't want to be applying too much pressure, just gently go with the curve on it, and then you don't get flats where you should have curves. So after I've done the rough shaping, I like to run my hand over it and feel where I think there's problems. You can normally kind of see where you've got the white of the old paint here, that's sitting high between these 2 points, so it probably isn't quite right there for starters. But running my hand along here, I can feel that there's some stuff that I like to get a marker and mark where I think I need to put a little bit more filler in. And here's not quite right, it's not flowing into there quite nicely, so I know I said it doesn't need to be perfect, but if I know I can do a bit better, I will. I don't put myself out there as a body worker, by the way, at all. I can do basic stuff like this. If you want to see how to do this spot on, I recommend a channel called Weird Beard. That guy, he seems to get it right first time. So yeah, check out his channel if you want to see some proper body working stuff. I only do what I can really do with a rattle can. Obviously here I'm going to be able to blend up to, there's a swage line here, I'll be able to blend underneath that, and obviously it's as it is the bumper on the lower end of the bumper. Compressor again. Finish doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. If I was going to have the whole bumper done, I'd have someone else paint it. But where I can get it done myself, again, it all comes to keeping costs down. Not out of tightness, but because if I can do that and keep the price down for someone, I've got a reputation for letting people have good value cars. So I like to do that. I'm in 2013. And I'm hoping to be able to get a door under 3 grand, well under 3 grand, around 2.7 maybe to 3 grand, depending on what it all adds up to. But yeah, I mean, it's a cheap car, 40,000 miles, 2013, and the extent of the damage has been the bumper and a tweak to the wing. So I wouldn't class it as a damaged car. Same old, same old. Most of the cars people are buying that aren't on the register will have had that level of damage. They just never actually got, they just got done by the insurance and never went on the register. So, I won't be painting tonight because it's too cold, way too cold. So I'll try and get all my filler work done and try and get it as straight as possible. So ready for painting tomorrow when it can be a bit warmer. So another skim of the plastic filler, but this time you can see that it is a lot smoother. I've shaped this one a lot more already. It's a very thin layer, very stretched out and much shape to the bodywork, unlike the thick layer at the beginning, which is just to get my general shape in. So this one I'll do with a finer sandpaper, like a 180, 240, and it should be the final one before I can spray. But you can see the general shape is there, and it looks like we've saved this bumper. So let's say it was going to cost me at least £300 for a bumper, which probably would have been the wrong colour, and I'd have had to have sprayed. So this has taken me few hours to do. Got £18 can of rattle can. Probably use £2 or £3 worth of filler. So yeah, definitely the way to go. Always nice to see if you can save something, to be fair, something original from the car, because all this white now will match up. If I'd have had to spray a new bumper, I'd have to blend into the wings. Otherwise you'd have had an obvious white to white, which means a lot more work, a lot more masking, everything. This one, like I say, I can blend up to here, and the new white won't go straight into the old white. So it won't be so blindingly obvious. You see some of these cat cars repaired and you've got this wing or bumper or bonnet that's completely new colour, effectively. They sit right next to each other and people put them up for sale and you see them. And I know people buy them because they're not particularly bothered, but it just does my nut in. If you can avoid that, if you can avoid going panel to panel, perfect. So, giving it a coating of epoxy primer before I put the high build primer on. That's going to be the last thing I do tonight because I say it's too cold for painting. As this is just sort of a basic bit of coverage, and obviously I've got to mask everything up properly. But yeah, general shape seems to be all right. Considering this was completely cracked off, if you remember at the beginning, completely cracked. It's looking good. So a few coats of high build primer, and take that back. When the high build primer, you take back to like 600 grit. We'll probably scotch 600 grit on it, and the rest of it here, this lower section here, and then it will go sort of a 1200 and a 3000 probably around here, and then so I can use fade out thinners about here, either side. So yeah, that'll be it for the video for now. Next video I will get this painted and we'll get it fitted up and see how it looks on the car, and we'll probably also video the 8 other cars arriving and going through each one of those and seeing if it's been a bust or not. Thanks for watching, much appreciated as always. See you soon.